One of the things that I work the most with clients is improving their communication. Listening and being able to say back what you hear in the context that it was given to you by your partner is so important. Even when we closely, actively listen to our partner, we can't predict what they'll do or what they'll say or what they think. And this is one of the reasons when you expect your partner to read your mind or to just know something because of how long they've been with you, it backfires on us because every couple, every person has some toxic thoughts. And I think in therapy, getting at being able to identify those toxic thoughts many times can help the partners communicate better. Because if we're not able to own and be aware of our own toxic thoughts and tell our partner what they are, then our partner is guessing, and we may react in a way that our partner goes, "Where did that come from?" If you're hearing that statement, "Where did that come from?" a lot in your maybe arguments or conflicts, there's a good chance that you are struggling with toxic thoughts that you have not shared with your partner. I'm going to list a few of those toxic thoughts that can destroy relationships, but if you identify with any of these, what I'm suggesting is you become so aware that you write them down and talk about them. Talk about them on your next date night, or talk about them over coffee, or whenever you and your partner are sharing what holds you back with communicating more effectively. So let's go through these. The first one is the all or nothing trap. When you believe that something has to be all this way or there's no chance for negotiating at all, this is a toxic thought that can actually work to destroy your relationship. Catastrophic conclusions. You assume that the way something was said or the way an action is going to turn out into something, you catastrophize it. You actually make it bigger than it is. You look to the future instead of just staying in the present with what happened and taking it for what it is at this moment. You make it something that's always going to happen, and that destroys relationships. The should bomb. If you start shoulding your partner, I can promise you your partner's going to get defensive, they're going to stonewall, they're going to react by withdrawing from you and pushing you away. Instead of using should, say I statements. I wish this had happened, or I was hoping this would happen. I would feel this way if this happened. That's much better than telling anybody what they should do, because actually when you say that, you're assuming you know that person's heart and mind better than they do. The labels. When you start labeling your partner, basically you're drawing you're putting a bar up how far they can go. You're actually limiting their personal growth or their growth in the relationship. Once you start using labels, that person hears that and they're going to start living up to that label. You don't want to use a label unless it's a fantastic, positive, encouraging label. The blame game. Anytime you point your finger at your partner, you are saying, I cannot change how the outcome of this comes. Anytime you blame a partner, you're divorcing yourself from taking any action. You're basically saying, I'm no longer part of this relationship. Is that what you really want? I don't think so. So look to yourself to fix things, to resolve things, because remember, when you change, everything changes. Even what you're upset about changes. Emotional short circuits. Emotional short circuits are when you jump ahead and you basically get into a trap where this is redundant with what you always do. It's when one partner becomes so convinced that his partner's emotions are like this, that they actually feel like they're no longer in control of them. You become so sure of what your partner was thinking that you start reacting to that rather then asking your partner, is this how you really felt? Am I confused? Is this, instead of asking, what were you thinking? Maybe I'm confused. You assume because this is what happened in the past that this is going to be how it is in the present and the future. That really messes up relationships. Overreactive imagination. Some people are really good at imaginations, and they will take any behavior and assume the worst. Maybe that toxic thought came from a past parent. Maybe it came from a past lover, a past friend, but it doesn't belong in the present, and it doesn't belong in this relationship. The head game. If you start playing head games or mind games with your partner, these are toxic thoughts. You're trying to manipulate what your partner will do or say. You're actually pushing your partner away, telling your partner, I am not a safe person to rely on. Do you really want to sabotage your relationship enough that you're willing to play a head game with them? And lastly, if you start this disillusionment or expectations that are unrealistic. A lot of people were raised in the Disney culture, and the Disney culture basically made fairy tales so popular, but life is not a fairy tale. When you put unrealistic expectations on your partner, something you imagined as a perfect romance or how it should be. I have so many people telling me, we have to work so hard at this relationship. I just know it isn't good for us. How do you know? Do you know you're supposed to work hard for a relationship? Do you know no relationship should be easy? If it's easy, it means that you guys are being dishonest with each other. The more honest the relationship, the tougher it is, the more issues there are to deal with, but the benefits are greater too, because you will truly know that person as they are, and they will truly know you. And let's face it, that is the highest characteristic of vulnerability. When you can be so vulnerable with a partner that you're going to tell them and share them your truth, now that is a relationship worth being part of.